Okay, another great resource that's out there that many teachers decide to use or happen to trip upon. It's one that gets good feedback is IXL. And IXL is there for, as you see on the screen, math, language, science, and social studies. Not sure about any other subjects at this time, but you notice they start at pre-K, they go all the way to 12th grade. And so this is a great site if you use the data to drive your instruction. Use it to support the students individually, in a group, or as a whole class, because a lot of teachers leave sites such as IXL, RazKids, Extra Math, MobyMax. I mean, I could name Lyrics to Learn. We could go on and on and on of these sites, but they don't do anything, and they're not babysitters, but they don't do anything if you don't use them to your advantage. And so, we talk about as a class, my flex group, we talk about how we need to use the site to our best ability and give it everything we have because it's a reflection of what we really know. And so you can search topics and skills, which is great. And I'm going to show you the topics and skills for the third grade math. There's 366 of them. And some of them actually carry over to the science area, such as reading a thermometer. Yes, that's a math skill, but also that carries over in science. So you have everything here, and most of them correlate to third grade standards for math. And so after we would do a lesson, and after we do some guided practice, whether in small group or whole group, I'd say, okay, let's go independently and see if you can apply this concept. And so you can see I've done a few with them. Multiplication skills, obviously, that's a huge standard in third grade, multiplication, building that fact fluency. But then over here, we get down to time. I used to a lot with time, reading clocks and writing time, or elapsed time. And so I want to show you the data from elapsed time. I want to show you the data from elapsed time word problems. It was a little, shocking to me after we had practiced. We read to the nearest 5 minutes, as far as elapsed. And so here's where we're at. Across the top, I've got the student's name. So of course you can see that matrix. It's like Battleship. So the kids' name's at the top. You drag down here, you find the standard. And if you ever get confused, you can hit the magnifying glass and they'll show you what it looks like. And so looking at matching digital and analog clocks, I've got students from 100. So she spent 15 minutes, 40 questions. It's obviously showing me a deep understanding. And then we go down here and we have 16 questions in 6 minutes. You've got to say to yourself, okay, is that the student trying their best? You've got to take different things into account. But you can see I can click on the student right here and it can show me their question log. It can show me their time. It can show me specifically what they missed. Next one, 6 questions in a minute. Obviously didn't take their time. No way 6 questions in a minute. They were clicking through with a 49% accuracy. 10 questions in 2 minutes, that's pretty questionable too, so you've got to use your judgment there. But elapsed time, there's a struggle. 28 questions, 31 minutes. 55 questions, so use your discretion. And so what I would do is I'd click on it and let's see what it comes up with. Okay. So here's your question summary, and you can see at the SMART score at the beginning, it begins and then it goes up. There's inconsistencies spent throughout. Let's see, correct answer. So look at this clock. So we see the time of 9:35. She put in a time of 10:35. So what time will it be in 45 minutes? You can analyze the problem specifically. So it was right here, we're seeing it's 8:55. What time will it be in 45 minutes? So she misread the hour hand on this one. And so you can close those and move on throughout it. IXL is great for those things. And the great thing I like about IXL that I want to do a practice one to show you is over here you can see different things as a student. And this is my side as teacher, so I could also do this as guided practice on the board. Questions answered, time elapsed, SMART score, which basically is a dynamic measure of toward mastery rather than percentage, which is fascinating. So it says, what time will it be in 30 minutes? Write your answers using numbers and a colon, for example. And so it gives me 4:30. And so my answer should be 5 o'clock. But for learning purposes, to show you what this site does, I'm going to put 5:02. And I'm going to hit submit. And they're going to say, I'm sorry, I'm incorrect. Now, most kids will read through this. You've got to make sure of that. Some kids will click got it and just move on without it. But I love the feedback that comes here, because with assessment, you need a good level of feedback. And so my answer, so it says read the time on the clock, which was the first step that we did. I said is 4:30. Add 30 minutes to it. So they could count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, which would take me to 5 o'clock. And then once they read it, they got it. And then it'd take them to the next problem. So that's how it goes. You can give awards to certain kids. That's also a positive incentive. And then over here to standards. Here are the standards I was telling you about. They tell you the goals that they directly tie to. Georgia standards. Fantastic. That is the thing. You want to show their understanding of the standard. And it goes all the way down, breaks them down. So we talked about area. So I will do a content search for area. We did in, yep, there's area right here. These are the areas that we talked about. Area models, that's fraction. Let's see. Here we go. This was the standard that we talked about. And here it is. So, interesting. The thing about assessment tools, I think there needs to be a balance of digital tools. There needs to be a balance of paper tools. I'm not saying that one's more important than the other. The thing that we need to do is make sure not to use one solo assessment to say this child's got it or not. We need to look at it as an accurate picture, as a complete picture, and say, okay, well, they didn't do well here, but they did well here, so where's the gap? Because if you base it solely on one assessment, the kid could have a rough day. Just think of yourself, does one thing of your life reflect your understanding, or one thing, one performance task reflect everything? And I'm not sure that would be something that I'd want done to me either. And so, once again, referring back to our quote, to be an effective leader and to make sound decisions, you got to gather data looking at diverse perspectives, giving kids creative opportunities, using those digital media standards, using technology, using some traditional methods to give us a whole and accurate picture and make sure that we're keeping other perspectives in mind.